Daybreak Games Studios hit with layoffs, Bioware Shadow Realms gets cancelled, all that and more. I'm Zach Sharps and this is Free to Play Weekly. The already released Amazon Fury Part 1 got its second part this week as DC Universe Online patches in Part 2, which continues the storyline of the Amazon War. In the DLC, players will venture into the underworld alongside Wonder Woman or Circe to do battle with the beasts of Greek mythology such as Cerberus, the Hydra, and even tangle with Ares and Hades. Also included in the DLC are 3 8-player raids, 1 elite 8-player raid, 2 4-player operations, and 1 single-player mission. That is a lot of content. Season 2 of Smite is kicking off, and with it comes new changes to Hi-Rez Studios MOBA. The list of changes are long, which is surprising coming from a MOBA, but great as well, and I'm going to overview generally what they change, but keep in mind all the lengthy videos going into huge amounts of depth are posted on our MMOBomb.com article found in the description of this video, so if you want to know more, be sure to check that out. When it comes to the changes, Season 2 is bringing 4 changes to the maps, new skins, lane buffs, items, god balances, and season league changes. The biggest and most notable change on the surface though is the redone Conquest map that in my opinion looks pretty sweet in comparison to the old one, but once again if you want to dive into the specifics of what I just covered, because these changes are massive in detail, be sure to check out the article in the description of this video. Every once in a while, a game just sort of disappears, and if you were wondering where the 4v1 game by Bioware disappeared to, it appears that Shadow Realms has been cancelled this week. In an official statement, Jeff Hickman, the general manager of Bioware Austin, detailed the reasons for Shadow Realms cancellation and says that SWTOR's development combined with new Dragon Age Inquisition content, a new Mass Effect title, and a brand new IP, development resources were just pulled too thin to continue work on Shadow Realms. This really isn't surprising with the success of other IPs and lack of success for newcomers in the very saturated MOBA market, but how do you feel about the cancellation of Shadow Realms? Leave a comment down below. Those of you who are fans of the Lost Vikings and play Heroes of the Storm got great news this week. Entering the Heroes of the Storm lineup is the Lost Vikings, a classic trio that is a bit different from the standard hero, as they now hold the highest complexity rating possible on the game's website. Some highlights of their skills are Spin to Win, where all 3 start spinning wildly around doing damage to all around them, Jump, which allows them to jump out of harm's way, Norse Force, which allows them to gain armor, and an example of one of their heroic abilities include Longboat Raid, where the Lost Vikings hop into a longboat that starts shooting a rapid-fire cannon at nearby enemies, as well as a long-range mortar to destroy a wide swath of targets. The hero certainly sounds interesting, but when I tried it out, I felt it wasn't for me. It just felt off. However, some of my friends are enjoying the hero, so who knows. Still a cool addition though, for sure. More content is good. And Forsaken World brought us more content this week with their Freedom Falls expansion now available to play. Returning players will notice right away that the UI has undergone a redesign, the skill training tree has smoothed out a bit, and new instance dungeons have been added. The expansion also introduces the Polar Borderlands region and takes place post the Storm Legion invasion. It's been a while since I jumped into Forsaken World, but I might want to hop back into it to see what's changed, especially since I got a good weekend's worth of entertainment out of it last time. With that said, I want to drop the question of the week. Last week on the show, I asked how long have you played a free-to-play title. A user by the name of Panda the Green stated the following: I jump from game to game a lot. However, I've been playing PlanetSide 2 for about a year now, and I'm still planning on playing it for a long time. The game keeps things interesting thanks to its massive scale, and playing with your outfit lets you cooperate with other players in a way I have not seen in an FPS game. Thanks for your response, and if you want your comment possibly featured in next week's episode, make sure to leave your comment down below. This week's question is, with many MMOs being on the market, and those of you saying you've hop shipped many times, have you ever given an MMO a second chance, and why? Personally, I'm happy I gave 2 MMOs a chance, those MMOs being DC Universe Online and Star Wars The Old Republic, because I didn't enjoy them at first, but after they developed more content and brought forth more depth, they grew more interesting and enjoyable to me. For our last news story of the week, we get a bit of sad news coming from the once Sony Online Entertainment, but now called Daybreak Games Studios. It appears that the normality of acquiring a company, then laying off employees, continues as Daybreak Games Studios is hit with major layoffs to all sectors. Longtime employees Dave Georgeson and Linda Carlson were let go from the company. Georgeson was the director of development for the EverQuest franchise, which included EverQuest, EverQuest 2, Landmark, and EverQuest Next, while Carlson was the company's head of community relations. Creative director for PlanetSide 2, Matt Higbee, was also let go from the company as well. Those were just the big name layoffs that occurred, but more were hit as well, totaling around 30 employees. It's always sad to see people lose their job after an acquisition, but that being said, sometimes new ideas can boom a company more than the old, so we'll just have to see how this affects current games under development at Daybreak Games Studios. Well guys, that does it for the news this week, but as always, make sure to check out our giveaways page on mmobomb.com to be sure you never miss a giveaway. But as for myself, I'm Zach Sharp, signing off until next week's Free to Play Weekly. I'll catch you guys next time.